Okay, we're just waiting a few minutes to begin. We have about 100 people signed up. I see about 30 participants so far. Okay, so on my watch it's 1:02. I think we can start. Other people will join us. Again, my name is Maurice Villaruel. I'm a co-leader of the kind of ELISA community, how would I say, office, if you were, or the management, which is we internally in ELISA call Work Package 8. And I co-lead with Sally, who will be speaking in a moment. So today we'll be talking about Joint Call 4. And as I noted before, this will be recorded and available also on YouTube. Basically, there are main things to go through today: provide information about the fourth ELISA joint call and address questions. Then afterwards, we will all be gathering this feedback, and based on the questions today, also we have an FAQ section on the web page. So I guess most of you have joined this because you heard about it through the web page or our social networks. There on the web page, we keep you kind of updated. And today, then, I will be moderating, and then we'll have a brief introduction by Alberto, then introductory address by Sofia Daguiar. Myself, I will speak in 3 slides about the EELISA communities in general. And then we'll get into, how we say, the nitty-gritty about what the call asks for. We have a special guest today, Lyudmila from KNU, talking about our associate partner from the Ukraine. And then we hope to leave at least half an hour for questions and answers at the end. So I would like to ask Alberto, if you would, just to a few words.
Thank you, Maurice. It's a real pleasure as project coordinator of Erasmus Plus, in which this activity is certainly one of its main unique and special creations of ELISA as an alliance. In the grant agreement provided funding for this initiative, communities, ELISA communities, is an idea that shows up many places. It's one of the nuclear aspects of our alliance, and one in which we've been successful so far in attracting the attention of partners, professors, administrators, academic coordinators, and it's truly a bottom-up initiative. I'm very pleased to be in this meeting, providing information and guidance towards preparing proposals for the fourth joint call. Fourth means that we had 3 previous calls earlier, and this idea certainly has been a success. So we want to keep on working on this, provide and support to ideas, creativity, engagement with the students. And with that, I'll close this introductory, because what is important is to listen to those that will respond to the questions of the attendants. So thank you, Maurice. And I think, Sofia, it's time now. Thank you. Thank you. It's a real pleasure.
Thank you, Alberto. Now, Sofia, please, as Executive Director of ELISA.
Thank you so much, Alberto and Maurice, for these words. It's, of course, I join Alberto into saying that it is a pleasure to be here in the 4th joint call info session. This is something that we are developing around ELISA, and of course, for the ones that are connected that already are part of ELISA Communities, I would like to acknowledge the tremendous work and engagement that you already have in this. And you know that ELISA Communities is a part and a crucial point of our value proposal. And really, you are already making tangible what is our alliance. So for the ones that are not already completely engaged and are using this call also to engage and develop the collaboration, and just in a nutshell, to remind you, ELISA, for European Engineering, Learning, Innovation and Science Alliance, we are a new initiative. We are almost 4-year-old, and together we are building a consortium of now 10 institutions, and today also, as we have an invited guest, with a new associated partner, which is Kiev National University, which is a pleasure and an honor for us. And really, what do we want in ELISA? We really want to be a pioneer initiative to really push and support higher education institutions of our partners and the ecosystem that is together with us, working and collaborating to be really a driving force into supporting Europe's, into being a driving force for sustaining and being green and digital transitions. And really to do this, supporting new mindsets development, supporting, educating not just our students, but also supporting us as staffs and academics of the institutions to be prepared to these challenges and introducing innovation in all the fields, and also particularly developing a new mindset for collaboration. And this within a long-term strategy. This is quite important. This strategy is supported by your rectors, also engaged by the different institutions, and really sets us the place to align vision, commitment, and action. And together, and this is what about communities, transform it into real tangible impact, not just to the learners, but also to the ecosystems in which we want to operate, and of course, to society as a common purpose. So what are ELISA communities? If we could go to the next slide. So our ELISA communities are really our, as an alliance, our first space of collaboration and youth. These ELISA communities are mission-driven spaces of collaboration. They're connected to sustainable development goals. They aim to have an impact. They aim to connect people. And they are a space in which, in a transdisciplinary way, we address challenges. We promote activities that, in a way, connect different ecosystems. They may be academia, the learners, ONGs, companies that bring together this problem and are able to provide activities, spaces for co-creation that are essential for society, but at the same time essential for the experiences of the students that also have the capacity to be recognized. And this capacity of our communities to transform knowledge into action and transformation is also recognized through these communities' credentials. And I think here today, this will be addressed. So it's really an ecosystem in which we want to provide an opportunity to touch on innovation, on research, education, and society. And by connecting and orchestrating these different elements through our action, we want to create opportunities to learn and create impact. So if we could go to the next slide. Danielle, please, yes. So this is really a living ecosystem in which we, around this mission and the challenges and the activities connected with the Sustainable Development Goals, we also put into action our challenge-based activity, our innovative pedagogies, and the modality of the activities that we want to provide, so that students, teachers, faculties, departments, and also external stakeholders can work together into developing that mission. So in a nutshell, really trying to summarize what communities are, and this fourth joint goal is an additional opportunity that the Alliance is setting up to support these collaborations, support your initiatives, and of course, give you the space to make the most of it in a new perspective of collaboration within the Alliance. So thank you for the ones that have been motivated to take part in this session, and I wish you a super fruitful session and the best work possible in this preparation. Thank you so much, Maurice.
Thank you very much, Sophia, for that introduction. And I'm afraid I will continue a bit more about the definition of EELISA communities. Since we are mostly starting classes now, I provide here a text which kind of defines it. And this is from something we call Deliverable 8.2, which was published in April within EELISA. Joint calls, EELISA communities and joint calls themselves. No, what are we talking about? And joint calls are a way of providing competitive financial support to EELISA communities through EELISA activities that lead to credentials, just what Sophia was just mentioning. The specific characteristics of EELISA communities can be found on the website for all to see. But in an academic context, or in a wider context of higher education institutions, they can be compared to interdisciplinary organizations, or what are called IDOs, no? Which is a fairly recent idea of defining them. And what are IDOs? Cross-disciplinary, multi-actor academic research teams addressing complex challenges in conjunction with the triple helix, which you may have heard about before: industry, government, and civil society. However, EELISA communities can be regarded as a novel concept, so going kind of beyond the IDOs, less related directly to research and more to innovative teaching methods. But we linking research, we don't do away with research, we need the research, innovation, and challenge-based learning as well. So here, hopefully, the idea here of the joint calls and the communities is to join these in a learning environment. Joint calls have been used to promote this linkage, emphasizing the important role of education and training. So here we have, in the end, an ecosystem, which is just what Sophia was talking about. We have this ring to let you know the current status. We have now 54 communities, 5 are new in the past year. I will be passing around an Excel sheet here soon with the names of all the communities, when they were founded, the contact names, and the number of activities. You can see some communities are bigger, some communities are a bit more active at certain times of the year, but I will be passing this around now for those of you looking for partners. So if I wanted to basically sum this up, of what are we doing with the communities in the joint call, in this case, the 4th joint call, you need a community, you have to perform activities, and these have to lead to credentials. So it's not so much based on research per se as the IDOs before, but in promoting an innovative learning ecosystem. And finally, this will be my last slide about basic concepts. We completed the 3rd joint call. We evaluated it. Some activities are being organized now for the fall to give other people an idea. Well, what are the characteristics of these proposals? No, we received 21 proposals. We had only funding for 13, and this is kind of what the participants look like. In other words, here we have on the x-axis the number of participants that are estimated for each activity, which go from about 30 to 150. That people who asked for the proposal, and these are actually the 13 that got the proposals. That's what they said they were going to reach out to that many learners, let's say. And then we have the cost per participant in euros. How much is this costing? So as evaluators, we kind of have to look at this as well. We don't want too few, and we don't necessarily want many, in the thousands, for example, as this may reduce quality issues, etc. But just to give a general idea to the audience, the participants are normally between around 50 and 100 as people who will receive the credentials. And as a work package A, we would probably like to see this increase in the future. And so we will go on to the fourth joint call itself. I will be inviting Sally to speak, but before that, just mention that if you can use the chat right now for questions, and obviously at the end we'll go by raised hand in order for the questions at the end. Okay, so Sally from ITU, I invite you to talk about the next slide.
Thank you, Maurice. Good afternoon. So as from the point where Maurice left, we had our third joint call. As we go through this presentation, you are going to notice that there are many similarities with the third joint call, but based on some experience that we had in the previous call, we had some modifications in the call that you are also going to notice as we are going through this presentation. So basically, the fourth joint call offers another round of opportunity for the interdisciplinary collaboration for ELISA communities, and which basically aims at advancing innovative teaching methods, addressing real-world challenges, preferably through challenge-based learning. The key criteria for the joint calls have been the participation of at least 3 ELISA partners. So this is one of the first things to mention at this point. But it is not just the ELISA partners that are creating this ecosystem. So I guess a major goal of this call and the previous calls as well is to bring the external stakeholders such as the industry, government bodies, and NGOs that are likely the ones that either directly poses the challenge or they work with us together to define the challenges. Therefore, we can say that their involvement adds a real-world perspective that is very useful in the proposals, so that we can help to ensure that the projects are mission-driven and they have an impact in addressing some of the societal challenges. Next slide, Maurice. So the proposals will be evaluated on 3 main criteria as in the third joint call. The excellence and impact, learning ecosystem, and implementation are the 3 bullet points that I'll be briefly elaborating on right now. So the excellence and impact is basically focusing on the academic and societal relevance and novelty, and basically you can support this academic relevance by giving reference to previous work that may be belonging to the co-organizers or to the literature as well. And societal relevance can be associated with the alignment of the proposal with the mission of the community and sustainable development goals, and incorporating the interdisciplinarity within the proposed event or activity. Talking about the learning ecosystem, we basically are looking at the innovative teaching methods that involve likely the challenge-based learning activities. At this point, again, I would address that it's important to have a balanced participation here of students, the academics, and external stakeholders across the ecosystems of the ELISA partners. And these activities that are proposed should lead to ELISA credentials. This is by definition, as Maurice mentioned, referring to the deliverable that where it has been mentioned. And even this can also lead to ECTS credits based on an assessment of the workload. So basically, there is a requirement here, at least an ELISA credentials to be issued, and proposals should clearly identify the involved SDGs, and you are going to see that in the application form as well. with the anticipated level of impact that is being elaborated in the proposal. And this is also going to be required for the reporting process. So, and that is kind of a preview of what we should expect after the activity and during the activity. And finally, the implementation part is basically about the feasibility and planning of the project. And it includes providing a detailed execution plan with a timeline and budget, and demonstrating how the project will be sustained beyond this funding. So is it a possibility that this is going to be sustained for future repetitions of this activity? And the final item for this call is a bonus point of up to 10 points for projects co-organized by the ELISA associate partner, which have been introduced briefly. The Taras Shevchenko National University of Kiev members should be co-organizers for proposals who may be receiving up to 10 points extra. And these proposals should address societal challenges that are linked to the war in Ukraine. And these are going to be detailed later today in this session. At this point, I guess this wraps up the evaluation section, but we can obviously talk about them in the question and answer section further.
Hi everyone. So on the funding rules are similar to the previous call. In fact, we have the same total budget with 130,000 euros for this call, and the maximum funding per activity, which is also the same 10,000 euros. So pay attention to that. In the proposal, the budget requested may not exceed these 10,000 euros. But of course, you can have other sources of funding, and we encourage you to mention it in the proposal, because it would be important for the jury to see that and avoid double fundings, for example. So for the budget items you can cover with this budget, it's quite usual. You have organization costs like travel and accommodation for the speakers, and coffee breaks, or everything you need for your activity, and also participation costs for the attendees in this case. Next slide. And here is a timeline of the next joint calls to give you an overview of the years to come, and it will be useful for you to organize yourself and know that you have many other opportunities to ask for funding. So you have 2 calls per year, one in February, one in September. Of course, we can change a little bit the dates if we judge it's necessary, but it will be like that on a semi-annual basis. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Camille. Sorry, my mic was off and I didn't present you at the beginning, but Camille Roger from PSL. Now I'd invite Joanna from FAU.
Thank you, Maurice. I just have some additional hard facts for you. I think the most important dates will be the submission deadline of this 4th joint call, and it's on October 15 by midnight. We will then have 2 weeks to go through your proposals, and we will announce the results of the call by end of October. For submitting your proposal, please use the Word template that is also listed on the website of the joint call. You can download it there and fill out the different sections, and then send it to communities@EELISA.eu. And please stay in the Word format. And on the next slide, there's something more about the timeline. If you got funded, the activities have to be done within 1 year after the call publication, and that will be end of August 2025. And after your activity is done, you have to submit a final report. You will get additional information on that once you receive the okay for the funding. And this final report, including, for example, the number of participants and the number of credentials you want to give, has to be submitted within 6 weeks after the conclusion of the activity.
Okay, Thank you very much, Joanna. Now I would invite Lyudmila from KNU University to talk about the themes of interest there at Taras Shevchenko University.
Thank you,
Lyudmila,
Maris.
please.
Yeah, thank you, Maris, so much. So first of all, I want to thank you, the whole EELISA Alliance, for inviting us to join actually this wonderful call. Thank you so much. Yep, here on the screen you could find the topics that our academic staff and administrative staff are interested for to join. And actually it was mentioned, could be just interdisciplinary projects. And just I want to group these particular topics within 3 R, so-called R's. And the first one is recovery, rebuilding, and rehabilitation. Because first of all, you could see some topics that are aimed at the recovery, because we really faced very complicated challenges within the full-scale invasion of Ukraine and of Ukrainian universities and in general, and our university in particular. So recovery, then rehabilitation, if we are talking about some health, the well-being, not only within the personal well-being, for example, but the country's well-being. And the third one is rehabilitation. That is very important for topic for us as well. And actually, we could use additional topics as, for example, the usage of artificial intelligence. If we are talking about recovery, for example, we could add and combine like ecological assessment within the urban studies and within the artificial intelligence as well, how to use different applications to do that. And these topics are, coverage of these topics are extremely important for the university community of Taras Shevchenko National University of Kyiv. And we would be happy to join the project within the topics as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Lyudmila, for that. I'm sure we will have room to collaborate in the future. I will continue now. Surely there are some questions. I think there's some questions in the chat, so you can use your raise hand option, and you can post a question in the chat. You can send emails. This is received by different people who are in work package 8, so we usually look at it every day. And I just wanted to mention that because this worked in the last joint call where we had these kind of cafe sessions. So we suggest these times and dates in the next 2 weeks where if your questions have not been answered, you can show up to these meetings. We ask that you register for them. The links for the registration are on the webpage, and they're more relaxed than today, where maybe only 2 or 3 or 5 people show up, and it could even be a venue to try to find new partners or new ideas, as happened in the third joint call as well. So this will be happening over the next 2 weeks, and then we'll also have some FAQs. We will be distributing this presentation as well, but I just wanted to say that these are the contact points for your within the EELISA community network. These are the contact points in terms of each partner. So if you have further needs that are maybe not being answered by certain other people, you can write to these people and locally, and they will give you more, they will go information. Okay, so I'll finalize that by saying thank you to everybody who spoke today, and thank you for the people who showed up. And now we will go to some questions. So I'll stop sharing for now. I'm going to add this Excel sheet that I said I was going to add, and I will look at the chat. And Petra, okay, so, and one of the first questions is, in which part of the application we can write if we have extra funding from our universities that can support our call? For example, if we were requesting 10,000 this call, but our total expenses are 12,000, and we can get to 2,000 from our university. And I guess I could ask for help for answering this, but in the implementation section, which Sally mentioned before, I think you can mention it there. There is another page for the budget itself. That's what we're asking in the budget page on the template, not to go over 10,000. But in the implementation section, we're asking that you can include other expenses there. I think I'm correct. Okay. And any other questions, comments? It's all very clear.
There is another one on credential, Maurice,
Oh, sorry.
in the chat.
Those are the cafes. When credentials are mentioned, what are those specifically? Credits for students, what other types could be meant? Yeah, here we're talking about ELISA credentials. It could be a bit confusing because in this world of micro credentials and ECTS, there are a lot of different ways to talk about it, but this is an idea that sprung up in ELISA 1, the first phase of ELISA, and it's specifically to our alliance. So there are ELISA credentials, and I would suggest maybe you look this more online about what they mean, but they're tied to the SDGs and the idea of badges. So I think this is more fully described, and I can do it right now on the webpage. And mostly they're for students, but they can be for other types of learners. I had an example in my community where we had a challenge, and there were ELISA credentials given to members from other universities that aren't even in the alliance, or to members of companies. So I think that could answer that. Somebody will join the cafe. Danielle provided the link for the credentials itself. Here I'm sending in the chat just a simple Excel sheet with the updated kind of list of all the communities, so you don't have to maybe scroll through all the web page, and their members and contact points. Because we could be at a stage where we have matured quite a bit as an alliance, and there could be mixes between members of different communities. There could be new, smaller communities being formed. In other words, we have bigger communities that will make smaller ones. Or we could have newer ones. You know, it's kind of unlimited at the moment how many communities you can be involved with. No? Okay, I don't see any other questions.
But there's a question on who the person responsible for ELISA at the KNU is. Is there a contact that can be shared, or is it on the web?
Yes, there I think we included it on the web. Lyudmila Slagorico, if I get Slagorico, her email is on the web. So it's I can include it here, but it's Lyudmila, the person who was just speaking, I think would be our contact point there, and she will help to provide contact with other partners. No, I think. I don't know if Lyudmila, if you want to say how that might work.
No, actually, yes, I could be the initial contact, and then if you just with the proposals of different projects, you can do the matching between the proposed university and, for example, our academic staff. Yes, but I would be happy to be the initial contact here as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I guess we did a really good job in joint call 3 and joint call 4 of preparing the text and explaining everything. So there aren't too many questions. Yes.
I'm sorry, I was trying to find the word template for the call that we would have to fill out, but I could not. Would that be possible to give me the link here in the chat now, maybe? I'm sorry if it's too much to ask.
Sure, I think Danielle, who's very fast, maybe he can do that, but it's in on the webpage. It's at the bottom, the 4 important dates, there's a section called application process and template.
Okay,
Uh,
well, thank you.
and
I will look at it again, but I couldn't find it just now.
It says,
Maybe I wasn't thorough enough. Yeah.
use this template. And I see there's a question about providing this presentation right now, which I can do in a second. I don't know, Daniel, do we usually provide as a PPT or a PDF?
I can send it in both formats.
Okay.
Just a second.
Okay, so Daniel will be uploading that.
In any
And-
case, it will be attached to the call page together with the recording of this session.
Okay, so yeah, we can do it that way then, yeah, okay. I must say as like a personal addition to this, that I have colleagues and friends who are maybe just learning about ELISA or they've just recently formed a community and they want to know how to find partners. So this might be an issue for several people who are online now listening. And there are several ways to go about this. But the primary way we think is to contact your local office, so your ELISA local office, to find out who they are. And I personally have used other ways that could be just a search on a Web of Science or other databases, Google Academic, just to search the university that are part of partners of ELISA and a certain field. I work with fish, for example, aquaculture, just put in the new, for publications in this field. No? So I think there are a number of different ways. Some people already have projects working in other fields, apart from ELISA, with partners. But I would say the first thing would be to try to find help through your ELISA local office, because they kind of centralize. And then also the representative, which we call Work Package 8, the representative for ELISA Communities at your institution. So we have some of them here, like, for example, Joanna from FAO, Camille from PSL, Sally from ITU. You can pass through them. Okay, so maybe I'm thinking, since we offered these cafes, people are like, okay, I'm going to get the general idea today, and then I'll show up at the cafe. So we actually might be decreasing the number of questions at the official. But anyway. Okay, any others? Yes.
I would have another one then, not to keep it for the cafe for next week. If I think I have joined a community already, but maybe I want to have a joint call proposal done. Do I have to work with everyone from the community that I have joined, or it's up to me or up to the group of people that want to work on this new activity that we're planning on to hand in? Or how does that work? Is there any fixed protocol for doing this?
I mean, some of my colleagues might suggest other ideas, but I think the short answer would be no, there's not really a protocol, and that yes, you can ask for, let's say, activities, or you can join the joint call proposal without including everybody from your community. It doesn't have to be the whole community. So, for example, I'm in a community of sustainable food production that has over 100 members. And maybe there are different people from that community relating to other contacts, even in other communities. And so there could be several communities involved in one activity. And we kind of suggest that if you are in a community and you're thinking of, and you are not the leader of this community, and you're thinking of asking for the joint call, you inform the leader of the community so that they know, so they can kind of keep track. Some communities do this very well, and they have like a structured government in the community. They even have a secretary, a treasurer, and they have people involved. Other communities are a bit more lax, and sometimes the leader of the community has left for some reason, so we're trying to find new leaders for some of those communities as well. So we have left it fairly open, but
Okay.
I think, does that answer your question more or less?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, more or less. Yeah, it gives me the broad perspective. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, another question here in the chat. Where can we find a description of communities? Yes, you can find that on the webpage. So there on the webpage, on the community platform, in the webpage, which Sally just put, you will find pictures, photos, and then the name of the community. You click on that, and they will give you more information about the community. Some communities, not all of them, have their own URL. They have their own webpage, which is off the ELISA platform. And maybe if you just look up the name, like you just copy paste the name of the community and you put ELISA on Google, it could lead you to, let's say, their own webpage for that community that's not on the platform. Okay, so 1:45. I don't know, I guess we can have some last comments or suggestions, and if there's nothing else, we can have an early lunch, at least here in Spain. Nothing? Okay, well, Alberto, if you want some last words?
No, I think I would encourage everyone to be creative and to prepare a good proposal. Thank you so much for attending this meeting.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Sophia, everybody, all the partners, and we will see you sometime soon, I'm sure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.